Hi, let's now configure Java with JSON framework. So what we are interested is we need to i- configure JSON framework into a Java application, web application. So the prerequisites are Java 1.5, which should be installed on the computer, the Tomcat Apache server, and a JSON framework which can be downloaded from JSON org. So you have to go there and download these binaries. So these binaries basically we say it's a client and server. The client is a JavaScript and the server is a jar file which you need to deploy in the part of your web archive. So what we are interested is like when the Java web application consists of your general Java application, Java web application. We'll have a JSP file. When the JSP file will try to invoke a method which is deployed in the server, a Java method which is deployed in the server, a simple Java class which will have a method which will be invoked from the JSP through this JSON framework, and the JSON will give it will receive the return value, and we're going to pop up to the user. So JavaScript and the Java method in the Tomcat server, which is so that's what we're trying to achieve now. So for that we have a um, Tomcat server which I have in my computer, so which will be deployed to the web apps folder. So we have json.var here, so I will delete it now, and what happens is like we'll build it again, and I'll show you how that's going to be built. So this is what my I opened my Eclipse. Now Eclipse, I have written some classes for this. So this is a business object class. Basically this is the method which we are going to invoke from the servlet and through the JSON framework, and I have a start servlet which just to make sure that the application is deployed. This I put a system.out println just to see that the application is properly deployed in the server. And the major thing is the welcome.jsp. This welcome.jsp is what we are going to see the page when we welcome with this page. And what I have written here is we have a Java page directive in that generally how you write your JSP file, and I have an import. This import is this particular class, business object class, and I am importing it in my page. And after that I have JSP usebean tag which will create a JSON RPC bridge which is coming from the JSON RPG package. See, this is coming from here, JSON RPC JSON bridge, and which is part of this jar file what I'm talking about, the first this JSON RPC 1.0 jar file. So this should be in part of the build. And now what, see, just we are creating an object of this class, the custom class, and we pass this object value to the to JSON bridge to register. First we create it, register with the JSON, and this is a simple text field and a button. On click of button, what I do is I'm going to call a function which is imported in the site.js. It's a custom uh, JavaScript file which is this one, and let's see what happens. I have this function. So what is a JSON RPC and new JSON RPC client, and what I wrote is I'm going to invoke this JSON RPC client. The client basically going to call the server method. That server method is registered as a servlet in the web.xml. You see, go and see web.xml. You can see a servlet mapping here, JSON RPC, and the full qualified name of the class, the servlet name, and the class name as well as the servlet name. So we have the mapping in the web.xml, and that mapping is called as an URL pattern which is mapped to this URL pattern. So when you want to invoke this one, you are going to call the JSON RPC URL mapping. So that's what I'm going to call from the JavaScript. So this JavaScript going to call that servlet, so which is providing you the framework, and result. What happens, I have the result, the business object which I registered with the bridge you have seen the JSP, and then call that method on that object. So we'll go revisit the JSP file again. See, I remember this one, like we have registered this business object with this name, and that name is referred in this JavaScript, this one. So we call the JSON RPC, get the client will call this object on the server and this method. So it's quite simple, I think. So mostly it's just a small framework to call the server method and get the result. So the business object will be invoked and it will be replied with a hello greeting. Like when you pass a name, we will return with a greeting, like just append hello to this particular text, so we can see this text back in our page. So what I have to do here is, now I have to show you what are jar files which should be part of the build. I have two jar files, one is servlet API, another one is JSON RPC. You don't need this servlet API in your Word file because it will be deployed to a Tomcat server which already have the servlet container. So basically it will have the jar file, and only thing you need is the JSON RPC jar file should be part of the lib folder in the WebINF folder. And I have custom script JSON script. This is JSON RPC.js, which should come from the JSON website. I told you, like, if you can download it from this website. And these are the two things we require from the JSON. One is the jar file, one is the JavaScript which we write. So now just let's build this application and deploy this to Tomcat server. So I have already written a build script, so which will help us building this application. So let's see how it happens. So this is a build target, build a deploy, and it will build the application and deploy it to the Tomcat server. So apparently it will be copying, after build it will be copying it to the Tomcat web apps. So that's what the folder here. So it has come here. Now let's start the Tomcat server. So now everything is set, or what is built, and what we are going to do is, like, we will see this welcome.jsp page with a text field and a button. Once you click the button, what happens is the Java method in the server, which is this class, get invoked and returns the value. So it's quite simple. Let's see how it works. Now let's start the Tomcat server. You go to the bin folder, then start your Tomcat. So as I told you, I have a startup servlet show the message. The startup servlet will show the message like this: JSON started, so that you will be able to see it here. See, it will be in this part, JSON has started. So that means the web application got deployed without hassle. So now let's open a browser. Let's open one browser. I open the Internet Explorer, and I open my local host, and I configured my Tomcat 8080 port and JSON. It should bring up a page for me. So probably I typed something wrong. Localhost 8080 / so that means my Tomcat should be up and running. Open the Mozilla Fox. Probably it will bring up my Tomcat. Let's type it here. Okay, let's do it from here. So now my Tomcat is started, and you can see the web application JSON is started. It's got deployed. So hopefully this will bring up my Apache JSON application. Yeah, there. So we got the application running, and now I will type something. I will say I'm going to type the name Robert and push to server. That means your Java method, the business object method, will be invoked. If you see in the console, you can see the log, and we see it here. I click this, it should be able to see that, right? So I clicked it. See, we got a reply, hello Robert, which is, say we see this method got invoked here, and we got the message back. So it happened through a framework, JSON framework. It went to the server, came back with the message and as a greeting. So this is how we configure JSON RPC with a Java application. You can try it out. It's very simple. If you need a further help on this, you can just email me, or you can just get it from the website. Now I can share email ID with you. So this is my email ID. You can just reach me and let me know it worked for you. So thanks for watching the video. Thank you. Bye.